Welcome back to another episode of my prep diaries. I am feeling beat up at the moment. CNS is just screaming stop, stop, stop. So I'm having an extra rest day this week, as I said in my previous video, and I'm about to head for my osteopath treatment now. My trap's calmed down a lot since last week. I'm feeling a lot of tightness in the hips, hamstrings and scapula in my back, so they're the areas that I'm going to ask him to focus on, but he'll do an assessment anyway and see what he thinks is needed. Let's go. Hope you enjoy it. I'm going to try and cover this session in a bit more detail than I did on the previous session when I brought the camera along, so I hope it's interesting. So whenever I go to my osteo appointments, we always start off with an assessment of my movement. So here you'll see me moving forward, bending back. That extension used to be really painful when I had like my peak back injury, but all of this was feeling good and I was moving really well. When I went in, I did tell Sat about how fatigued I was feeling and tired and how I just felt like I had no power. So it was decided that this treatment would be real deep. It was quite a long one just to get me moving again and feeling fresh. It's like a central nervous reboot. That's how I can best describe it. Here is just checking my mobility in my hip and my shoulder. Last week this movement was really painful, but it felt much better on this occasion. Last week I also had limited movement in my neck, but that was also feeling much better this week with the trap feeling better. It's when I'm sitting here that I think, why do I do this sport? Pain is temporary. What is it? Pain is weakness leaving the body. I handle sports massages pretty well, but this was so hard and so deep. I pulled a lot of faces and squirmed an awful lot. This side's a bit pinchy more than that one, like right inside. Yeah, that hurts.
As in where my thumb is, or?
Yeah. I don't know why I say that, because I know what it's going to result in. I should just keep quiet. Everything feels great. I feel the best I've ever felt. So all jokes aside here, this left hip was really tight and there was some significant pinching pain when it was moved internally. So I mentioned that to Sat, who is my osteopath. I just said his name earlier and didn't explain who he was, but he did a lot of work here, both mobilising and massaging around there, and the results were pretty awesome. But I will let you just watch and enjoy my pain faces for now. Lol at me just keeping my eyes closed and trying to play it all cool here. This was pretty uncomfortable, but like I said earlier in the video, pain is only temporary, and for the mobility that this unlocked, it was so worth it. Here it looks like Sat got fed up of my feeble attempts at internally rotating my hip, so decided he'd just do it with his elbow instead. Great. Here Sat was applying pressure to the hip flexor while I was rotating my feet in and out, and it was killer. This hip's never felt so relaxed. Look at it moving and stuff. Wow. Voodoo shit that is. What do you mean voodoo shit? How did you do that? It's almost like you know what you're doing, isn't it? So after some work on my lower back, got started on my glutes. I do use a lacrosse ball to get into them in between sessions, but nothing quite compares to an elbow in the butt. Where the work has been done on my back now is where my back had been cramping a couple of days prior, so this was pretty tender but really needed to be done and felt much better for it afterwards. Oh, I knew the hamstrings were coming. My hamstrings that pumped on Monday, I felt like Chris Horn. Walked out the gym like, yeah, my legs are massive. Looked in the mirror, I was like, oh no, maybe. Still noodles. So my hamstrings were one of the areas that I felt needed more focus after a real heavy hamstring loaded session on the Monday. This was very uncomfortable, but again, definitely beneficial. These kind of treatments are my favourite. I feel like I could just go home and sleep after. Looks a treat. So like I mentioned earlier in the video, these treatments really do feel like a central nervous system reset. They make me feel totally relaxed after, and then I had the rest day the following day just so I could completely switch off, give my body the break that it needed. But I did feel really relaxed at this point despite getting my calves smashed. Again, another target area being hit here with the scaps and traps. Real tender, but again feeling much better after the session and after a week of working on it in my sessions. Following the deep tissue work, Sat did some fascia work on me with this tool that you'll see. People will often refer to this as Grafton and have it as a standalone treatment. However, this was just a tiny part of the treatment that you have seen on this video. So here you can see some work being done on my neck. Before this session I didn't even know what this part of my body was called, but it is the sternocleidomastoid. Sat was explaining to me here where this connects in the body and what it does, and it made a lot more sense as to why it was so painful. That would explain why that's been hurting. How does that even get tight? How is that?
So this is quite commonly it's tight where your head falls forward a little bit, so if any trainings, well, it's very common with people that are on laptops for long hours.
That would make sense.
On the phone, when they're looking down, your head drops forward a little bit.
Yeah. We know everyone loves a neck crack, so here you go. So here Sat is doing some assisted stretching with me, really stretching out the lumbar spine. Normally this is quite restricted because of my hip, but after the work that was done earlier on, this felt really good, and there are a few pops if you listen closely. This right here is my favourite manipulation. I don't know why I like it so much, but it just feels really good, really satisfying, and makes me feel a bit taller, you know? The session finished with Sat repeating the test that he did at the start, looking at my movement. It was a good session, everything was feeling good by the end, and I was good to go home and chill. I'm back from my treatment with Sat from Atlas Pain Relief. He spent a good 90 minutes on me today, and I'm feeling totally relaxed and reset now. And we were talking at the end of that session how every time I go it's something different, and it's dependent on what I need at that time. This week my central nervous system was just feeling totally fried, so we needed a different kind of treatment if I was about to have a really heavy session tomorrow and needed to be fully recovered from the treatment. So He assesses what I need every time I go in, and I'm starting to know myself what I'm going to need. But it just goes to show, like, a lot of people want to get cupping or want to get grass done or want to get a certain treatment, but that's not necessarily the treatment that you need at that time. You might just need a bit of soft tissue work. Cupping has its place, grassing has its place, but I would never book in for a specific treatment. I think it's best to have a practitioner who does several things, let them assess what they think you need at that time with the information that you give them, and make that informed decision, rather than just getting treatments because they look cool or they give an immediate reaction, like the big cut marks. That doesn't mean that it's working. And it's just something that gripes on me because we see so much of this. Get this treatment. Actually, you might not need that treatment at that time. So if you're going to have physical therapies like I do with my sports therapy and the osteopathy, then find a practitioner who knows their stuff and has lots of different tools available to them, but only uses what's needed. That's my little rant, because I think it's really important not to overdo treatment stuff and get it just for the sake of it. There we go. I'm going to enjoy being relaxed and reset and get on with some stuff. Peace out. Quick update just to let you know how busy stuff can get. So it is 20 to 9 now. I had to get up super early and do all my usual Friday feedbacks and check-ins, so that's all done. Then I need to get food prepped because I'm doing a shift at the children's hospice this afternoon, so I'm gonna whiz out for a walk now, get back, cook that. Then I've got a client video call check-in, which I love, so I'm looking forward to that. Then I need to get to the gym, eat, shower, get to the hospice. It's a busy one. I ain't got time to bring you along with me, but thought I would keep you in the loop with how hectic today is, and then hopefully a nice restful weekend will occur. Saturday morning, I've been having some trouble with my weight coming down. I just seem to prefer being heavier, and I've been stuck between 66.7 and 67 for ages. And Vicky promised me there would be a whoosh with my weight soon, and that day seems to be today. Matthew, can you take the camera for me while I show these people my weight? Don't get my toes in though. Look at it! So I need to be 63.3. We can finish off with a water load, but we're well on our way there. So that's it for this vlog. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, all the rest of it, and catch you on the next one while we ramp up the training again. Woo!